In the beginning, it seemed like a normal trade conflict. The US reintroduced tough measures, Canada retaliated. But no one expected that the epicenter of the confrontation would shift to Europe. This time it is not just about tariffs or contracts, it's about trust, it's about reputation, and the survival of one of the most high-profile companies of the 21st century. Tesla is collapsing, and this time not because of technical failures or internal scandals, but because Europe is turning its back, silently, coldly, consistently.
America is back.
Something has snapped. Germany has seen a 70% drop in Tesla sales. In France, mass protests by owners demanding a refund for a car that now stands shamefully in the garage. In the Netherlands, dealerships are closing one after another. The European press no longer admires Elon Musk. It is exposing him. It analyzes his political connections, accuses him of playing on Trump's side, and wonders whether you can trust a man who, with a single tweet, can crash stock prices or undermine diplomatic relations between countries.
Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things. So I think we just have a deranged, there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here, because this doesn't make any sense.
This story is not about trade. It's not even about Tesla. It's about relationships. Europe is used to Musk the visionary, the man who pushed the boundaries of the possible. But now it faces a different man. Musk the politician, Musk the disruptor, a man who lost his neutrality and found himself at the epicenter of an American political storm. Europe is watching and drawing conclusions, and the whole world is watching. When Canada imposed a 100% tariff on Tesla, Europe didn't intervene, but it did something more important. It began to redistribute the market. Volkswagen, Renault, Stellantis, even China's BYD and NIO are rapidly increasing share on the European continent. Tesla is losing in speed, in price, in the quality of after-sales service, and most importantly, in credibility. Investors are fleeing. Employees are fleeing. Old allies remain silent, and Europe, instead of rescuing a longtime partner, is quietly preparing its own alternative.
We've accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
He praised all the domestic actions he has taken so far on immigration.
And I deployed the U.S. military and border patrol to repel the invasion of our country.
And spending cuts.
We are draining the swamp. It's very simple.
Why are European politicians silent? What do they really think about Tesla's collapse? And most importantly, why is it now that Europe has decided to turn its back on Musk, the man who was recently called the engineer of the century? Today we'll look at how this silent ouster began, who really benefits from the fall of Tesla in Europe, and why this could be the beginning of the end for one of the most ambitious projects of our time. You will see the chain of events, the hidden mechanisms, the behind-the-scenes decisions, and the cold calculation behind the soft European no. This is not a story about failure. It's a story about civilization choosing a path, and that path, more and more often than not, doesn't coincide with the one Elon Musk is following.
Well, this feels more like a Tesla-only story when you look at just this fall in EV sales for them that they're suffering across Europe, down 45% in January. The wider EV market in Europe up 37%, so rivals are catching up and performing.
When Canada decided to impose a 100% tariff on Tesla, many initially underestimated the implications of the move. Internal disagreements between countries in the trade sphere have repeatedly become a reason for economic sanctions, but this time it turned out to be much more serious. The Canadian authorities officially announced that this measure is a direct response to the US administration, which tightened its trade policy by imposing new restrictions on Canadian goods. Although this is not the first time the US has resorted to using economic pressure, the imposition of tariffs on Tesla cars overshadowed all previous controversies. The reason was not only the size of the duties, but also the fact that Canada decided to punish a symbol of the United States, a symbol of technological progress, a company that has been one of the main drivers of innovation for America in recent decades. What exactly was the final straw? According to sources close to the Canadian government, With this move, the authorities wanted to demonstrate their independence and the right to an independent economic policy, especially in the context of unstable relations with the United States. Setting a tariff on Tesla can be seen as a symbolic act. Canada was trying to undermine the American economic image by deciding to question both the U.S. leadership in technology and the strategic importance of major American companies. Elon Musk, as the founder of Tesla, was in the spotlight. His reputation and role in U.S. politics played a large part in this decision.
Outperforming as well in some cases, doing better than Tesla. And you just have to think, how much more is this a sustained issue for Tesla going forward, given the fact that you have Elon Musk, who's been very forthright in his opinions, particularly weighing in on politics, particularly in Europe. We've just had the European elections, which Musk has been very focused on. But across the piece, when you look at the performance for Tesla in Europe, it's not just in small countries. There are a lot of countries where Tesla has been performing badly, including in Germany, in the UK, where it has been lagging, and Spain as well.
Meanwhile, Tesla immediately felt the effects of the new tariffs. The company's car dealers in Canada reported that sales have dropped by 30% since the duty was imposed. Musk was forced to rethink his financial strategy for the coming months. Tesla announced price increases on all of its models, including the Model 3 and Model S, which immediately affected demand. Canadians began refusing to buy Tesla en masse, causing the company's stock to plummet in global markets. One of the most significant blows to Tesla was the breaking of contracts with Canadian buyers and partners, including a major deal to provide technology for the Starlink system. This move by Musk, who had previously prided himself on working closely with Canadian businesses, proved to be a strategic mistake. In response to Canada's actions and the further deterioration of the situation, Musk began to openly criticize not only the country's government, but also his own U.S. authorities. He resented the fact that the U.S. did not support him at the time of the trade conflict. It is rumored that Musk even tried to get the White House to negotiate with Canada, but received only replies. In his next speech, he said that this behavior only confirms that America no longer respects its allies and that he will now have to find new markets to expand his business. However, Musk's move did no good. The echoes of his accusations of political negligence began to affect not only his business, but also his personal reputation. Under pressure from public opinion in the US, he had to apologize for his remarks and try to regain credibility both at home and abroad.
USA, no Musk, no KKK, no fascist USA. No Musk, no KKK, no fascist USA.
But in the meantime, Europe was actively following the developments. European manufacturers like Volkswagen and Renault saw an opportunity to strengthen their market position, not only because of Tesla's falling sales in Canada, but also because of possible future complications for Musk. This couldn't help but affect strategic decisions within Tesla itself. Musk, who has always was at Europe an important market to develop, found himself in a position where he had to desperately fight for every sale. But instead of strengthening his position in the market, he continued to challenge the validity of other trees, which only made his position worse. European automakers began ramping up their efforts in marketing campaigns, offering consumers favorable deals on electric cars, all against the backdrop of Tesla's continued erosion of credibility. At some point, many European experts began to wonder whether it was even worth it to continue to support cooperation with companies like Tesla in the face of uncertainty in the international arena. The European market could greatly benefit from the company going out of business, but whether Europe would benefit in the long run also became a big question. Thus, Canada has made a move that may be a major turnaround for all the world's economies. And while Musk continues to claim that the situation is under control, the pressure on Tesla continues to mount.
Well, when you look at the kind of input Musk has been having into politics, there has been some polling done which suggests there is a strong dissatisfaction with Elon Musk's views on weighing into very much national politics, national elections in Europe. And then on top of that, when you see the backdrop of Tesla upgrading its product line and the impact of them trying to chase more sales at the back end of last year, that means it's short on inventory. It can't necessarily sell as many vehicles or doesn't have as many in stock to sell. So there is that issue there of a confluence of impacts, which means that sales have been falling. Again, the question is how much more that will impact into February as well, given that the back end of last year in 2024, Tesla sales did slip overall.
Unfortunately, these are dark times for Tesla. While the company continued to fight for its place in the global market, its position began to rapidly deteriorate, especially in Europe and the United States. Tesla, which had recently been a symbol of innovation and leadership in the automotive industry, was now facing a sharp decline in market position and increasing alienation from customers. The expected wave of protests and changes in public perception of the company were part of a global trend that threatened to break its monopoly in the electric car market. First, mass refusals to buy Tesla began in Europe, especially in Germany, which immediately affected sales. By the end of the second quarter of 2023, the company reported an astonishing 70% drop in sales in a country that was once considered one of its most reliable markets. Why did this happen? The reasons lie not only in political unrest, such as the imposition of tariffs by Canada, but also in deep frustration among European buyers. Tesla's owner in Germany, who for years proudly drove a car bearing the company logo, was now increasingly the target of criticism from colleagues and neighbors. Musk, who so actively supported free market relations and prophesied that electric cars would not just be a trend, but an inevitable part of the future, found himself at the epicenter of a global controversy.
Tesla shares have slumped by more than 9% amid a fall in sales in Europe. The electric vehicle maker posted lower sales across 5 European countries, including France and the UK. Joining us now to discuss this is CBS News foreign correspondent Remy Inocencio. Remy, why do we believe these sales are dropping? What's driving that?
Sure. Well, Errol, basically what Elon Musk has been talking about over the past, say, few months, ever since Donald Trump's election back to the White House, that has been fueling this anger, this frustration, some even say disgust towards Musk, and they're taking it out on Tesla. Tesla now feeling the pain. But because of what's happening here in Europe, Tesla sales fell by nearly half across the continent just last month, 45%.
Customers began to notice that Tesla could no longer maintain the high quality of service that had been its trademark throughout the years. Constant delivery delays, repair difficulties, and lack of spare parts created a feeling that the company was losing control of its business. On top of that, problems with the autonomous features of the car began to lead to more and more incidents involving Tesla. In January 2024, several major accidents involving Tesla vehicles occurred in Germany, leading to a public uproar. These incidents were the catalyst for further loss of trust in the brand. As a result, Tesla sales in the country dropped significantly, and older owners began looking for new solutions, including from competitors. Similar trends were observed in other European countries. In the UK, France, and the Netherlands, people began to abandon Tesla cars en masse, preferring to buy cars from other manufacturers, including Chinese ones. The rapid spread of BYD and NIO on the continent also played a role. While Tesla was still considered one of the leaders in the electric car world, Chinese companies like BYD offered more affordable and competitive models with innovative technologies. Unlike Tesla, Chinese brands did not have the political tensions that attracted the attention of European buyers. For many Europeans, personal preferences began to merge with global economic and political interests. With each passing day, it became more and more apparent that Musk was no longer just an entrepreneur who was changing the auto industry. He now began to be seen as a figure associated with controversial political views. The question that has plagued many: can one support a company whose owners and key figures are associated with political scandals related to the United States? After all, with each passing day, Musk became more and more overtly representative of the American political elite, which made buyers wonder, is it worth continuing to support a company that openly supports the former US President Donald Trump and actively interferes in the politics of his country?
That's from the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. People just choosing with their wallets to not buy Teslas because of that Musk-Trump association. And actually here in London, an activist group called Everyone Hates Elon actually have been hacking bus stop signs with posters. I actually passed one yesterday. First, I wasn't quite sure what was happening, but it said the words 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds. Illusion here, 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds or something. But this poster was alluding to the start of World War II, and the image was of Musk giving that hand salute that we saw at Trump's inauguration that many have attacked as a Nazi gesture. Musk, though, has neither admitted or denied what he was doing. But we're seeing the knock-on effect of that anti-Musk anger across Europe and in terms of sales.
With each new scandal, the company lost its appeal to investors, and Tesla saw its stock price plummet. In July 2023, major investment firms, such as Vanguard and BlackRock, began withdrawing their money from Tesla, reducing their stakes in the company. This further exacerbated Musk's financial problems. Markets began to take note that Tesla's long-term stability was in question, and the company could not continue to lead the electric car industry at the same pace as it had in recent years. Musk, who has all along prided himself on his leadership in innovation, has been forced to recognize that his company is losing ground. Even his attempts to find a way out of the crisis by announcing new models and investing in new developments could not prevent the decline. Competitors such as China's BYD and NIO have become increasingly attractive to buyers due to their flexibility, quality, and affordability. Attitudes toward Tesla in Europe and the US continued to deteriorate. The company's sales began to decline, and competitors became increasingly aggressive in taking market share. Eventually, Musk found himself at a place where he had to make an extremely difficult decision: change the direction of his company and rethink his approach to business, or continue on the same path despite the crisis. Whether he can put Tesla back on the leadership pedestal remains an open question. Time will tell, but for now, this company that was once a hallmark of innovation is now going through one of the most difficult periods of its history.
For example, here in the UK, sales year on year from January of this year to January of last year, down 12%. You can see Norway even worse, minus 40%, Netherlands minus 43%, Germany minus 60%, France even higher, the most actually, one of the biggest, minus 63%, and there we go, Spain even 75%. Germany, of course, comes to mind because Musk campaigned for the far-right AfD in elections last weekend, and they are now the second biggest party in Germany ever since World War II. But we did see over the past couple months, ever since President Trump was elected on November 5th, the share price of Tesla rocketing.
Amid these internal problems, Musk found himself under pressure. His actions as an entrepreneur and leader were increasingly questioned. He tried to salvage the situation by announcing new projects and expanding production in other countries, but with no apparent success. In April 2023, Musk announced the launch of a new electric car model that he said was supposed to put Tesla back on a pedestal, but the model failed to live up to expectations. Production problems encountered by the designers led to significant delays in the release of the new model, and its release was postponed until the second quarter of 2024. Thus, Tesla's internal problems have become no less serious than external pressures. Ongoing problems at the factories, shortages of components, mass layoffs, and falling reputation of the company led to the fact that Tesla began to lose its position not only in the European market, but also in the United States. Investors who had previously been proud of their investments in Tesla began to wonder if it was time to diversify risk and withdraw capital from a company that increasingly resembled a project that was spiraling out of control. No matter how hard Musk tried to turn the situation back in his favor, questions about Tesla's future became more and more pressing. At one point, rumors emerged that Musk might be ready to sell his stake in Tesla and focus on other projects. Support from investors was becoming more and more tentative, and the fact that major shareholders began to openly express their displeasure with Musk's actions signaled a decline in confidence. An equally important issue remained what was happening to Musk's reputation. His figure, once seen as the epitome of progress and innovation, was now becoming increasingly controversial. Musk was increasingly associated with controversial political statements and even political interventions, which alienated many European and American consumers. More and more people, especially in Europe, began to part ways with the Tesla brand, not only because of the quality of its products, but also because of the political views of its founder. But all of this led to another important question that Musk has not yet clearly answered. Can he save his company? Is it possible to regain the trust of customers and investors in the face of increasing competition and economic instability? And, most importantly, can he put Tesla back on the path of innovative leadership if the company continues to face challenges both internally and externally? This remained the biggest mystery, and Tesla's future now hung in the balance. Instead of returning to the ideas that had once made Tesla unique, Musk continued to struggle with the company's internal problems, causing him to lose his confidence. He realized that if the internal crisis couldn't be dealt with, Tesla's future would be in jeopardy. And the question is not so much whether he can bring the company back to success, but how much time he has left before competitors finally take away Tesla leadership in the electric car market.